Let's get into the orange and blue debut. So far, we have a number of names that have announced that they will be there. This is a running list and will change both in the positive and in the negative over the next few days. But let's take a look at who they are. Number 1, edge, Colin Simmons. Number 2, safety, Xavier Felsami. I think that he might be on commit watch. What do you say, Sil?
Who was that again?
Xavier Felsami?
Yeah. Got safety out of Texas. Xavier,
probably.
Felsami is what I say. I could be wrong. We'll find out when he gets.
We called him Eglu Khan for 4 years, so
we'll find out his junior year. What's his real name? But for right now, we'll call him Felsami. I got him on commit watch. He's originally out of the Orlando area. Visited right after we gave him an offer. I think early in January, he came and checked it out. We've been hearing a lot of good things. Elite safety, a ball hog, everything you want from that side of the ball, top tier talent. We'll see how it all plays out, but I'm hearing good things about him possibly committing.
Definitely a name to keep an eye out for. QB commit DJ Lagway will be on campus. He's racking up those frequent flyer miles. Always great to see with your 5-star QB commit.
DJ and the PJ. DJ.
Yes, sir.
We need to get him a wheels up NIL deal. On3 athlete and back Kahnen Daniels, again, another guy that is likely on commit watch. I know that there's a crystal ball put in, and I know our friend Corey Bender with the recruiting prediction machine and On3 has Kahnen Daniels penciled in right now for the Florida Gators class. Would be a great get to add with running back commit Chauncey Bowens. A nice little 1-2 punch there as the Gators are looking for 2 running backs in this group. Silk, Nick, you got any thoughts on Kahnen Daniels before I move on?
I love Kahnen Daniels, a big kid out of that Mississippi area. These guys out for running back, I'll never question. I wasn't high on ETN when he came in. I was dead wrong. But I do like Kahnen Daniels as a prospect. I know a lot of people asking about Jared Gibson. He swung by just to check out the price tag on everything. I don't think he was serious. I just can't think he just floated by.
He just wanted something to do over the weekend.
Yeah. Just inflate the price a little bit. Inflation's up, so he figured he'd just jump into that whole inflation thing and swing by Florida real quick. But I like him as a running back too. Very good guys. I think both of these are very elite running backs. I don't think Kahnen Daniels is a big drop off from anybody else on our QB2 board, because all of this is NIL, and a lot of this is more bang for your buck. Running backs isn't a position you want to invest a whole lot in, I would say. But I like our 2 guys. I think we got a top tier elite guy and then a good number 2 behind him. If Kahnen Daniels is our guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
No, go ahead. I was switching topics.
Okay, so he's somewhere between 5'11" and 6'1", depending on. We're going to go with On3, where they say he's 6'1", 185, out of West Point High School in West Point, Mississippi. He is ranked as the overall. So when you account for all of the rankings, as the 311th best player in the country, the number 25th running back, and the number 10 player in the state of Mississippi. Rivals is very high on him, with him being as the 8th best running back in this class. On3 has him at 20, 247 has him at 26, and ESPN in their one person in their recruiting department has not yet evaluated him nationally. All right, Nick, go change the subject before we come back to recruiting.
Well, still running backs. And it's what I texted you guys last week. Talked to somebody. Chauncey Bowens, didn't know this. Fluent in Chinese and a great chess player.
Yeah, we have a big Chinese community.
Also was told that Silk, stop talking about him. They like that he's
under the radar.
They like that he's a little under the radar. They want you to stop hyping him. Sorry, my phone keeps going off. I feel like Adam Schefter here.
Oh, this comes with my 5'6" bias. I hype everybody from 5'6", so they just got to deal with it.
Deal with it.
And he probably had to learn Chinese just dealing with the big Chinese community right here in Palm Beach County. It's a lot of.
How's your Chinese?
It's a good thing to know.
It's trash.
They're still working on it.
How's your chess?
Elite chess game.
I got to learn how to play chess. It's one thing that I need to learn.
Yes.
My parents never played or anything else. I never really learned. I know what the pieces do, but the strategy behind it.
Yeah, Silk sounded like a disappointed father when
I
he asked us if we played chess. I was like, I mean, I know I can play. I can lose to you. I can play. I know how to move the pieces, but no idea how to win a game of chess.
Yeah, so willing to take up some private chess lessons so I can challenge Silk to a game, and
I'm just gonna pass. Just find another,
Yeah,
find another game.
all right.
Get you with the fools, mate, like I do my son every week.
4-star defensive lineman Kendall Jackson will be on campus. Offensive tackle Ty Hilton, linebacker commit, Miles Graham, linebacker commit Adarius Hayes. I'm excited about both of those guys. I think they're both going to be incredible college athletes. Running back commit Chauncey Bowens will be on campus. New safety commit Josiah Davis. The number 2 quarterback in the class of 2025, Carter Smith, will be on campus. A 4-star defensive lineman, Jalen Wiggins, from 2025 linebacker Elijah Melendez will be on campus. And then, of course, 2025 QB commit Austin Simmons will be on campus. With Florida still recruiting number 2 quarterback in that class of 2025, Carter Smith. You have to almost wonder if Florida thinks that there is a reclassification in the works somewhere. Obviously, Florida is going to keep recruiting until the national signing day is passed for that class of 2025. But again, Florida's still looking. So you almost wonder if Florida might be playing to get another quarterback in that group.
We may go on the DB. Yeah, I do like that, Dan. And that was another sign that Austin Simmons could be reclassified. All that's very true. But I do like that offer went out, so it's kind of transparent. You can read between the lines if you're a fan that Austin reclassifying is a big possibility. We'll see how it all plays out. But Friday, as far as the visits, a lot of DBs on campus, a lot of DB smoke. Corey Raymond may pull in a couple guys himself. We'll see how that all plays out. But a lot of smoke around Thursday. I keep saying Friday, I think.
Big Thursday.
Big Thursday.
You can go over balls right after. $10 all you can drink, at least back in the day.
We talked about it a little bit on Wednesday. I think I went on my positive rant. So if you haven't watched the Wednesday show, I'm trying to turn a new leaf, shed my nickname. But I think it's significant that Carter Smith gets like an offer and then coming to visit the same week that you got a quarterback commit, a top 10 quarterback commit from that class. I think that you're reading tea leaves, but I think that shows that you might get a reclassification. And I love Carter Smith. I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in that cycle.
What is Billy selling, baby? Billy's selling something, dog. Like he's just snatching quarterbacks like they hanging mangoes on the tree, just walking by, plucking them down. Yeah, I'll take this.
Just need that out of the transfer portal now.
Right.
That's Bird.
The word.
Bird is the word. Let's see. We also had a bunch of visitors on campus. And again, I know some people on the On3 message board were a little concerned about the number of visitors the Gators have already slated for Thursday. I would just say wait and see. There's a lot of names that will be added. And like I said, there may be a subtraction or two from that list as well. But it is still days away. Recruiting happens in the blink of an eye in terms of whether people are going to visit or not. Over the last week or so, the Gators hosted number 10 ranked linebacker Chris Jones, number 5 edge rusher Jordan Ross, 4-star wide receiver Terrence Moore, who I think Florida is very, very high on, and I think that the return is true on his end too. So I know the Gators are really trying to get him in this class. On3, running back Kahnen Daniels, who we spoke about, LSU athlete commit Joseph Stone, offensive lineman Elias McAdoo, tight end Colton Heinrich, 4-star tight end Amir Jackson, wide receiver Elijah Moore. I feel like there's an Elijah Moore every year in some recruiting class. Athlete Justin Thurman, 2025 edge rusher Isaiah Gibson, Texas A&M D-line commit Dalen Evans, defensive tackle Nasir Johnson, athlete and defensive back Justin Denson. Silk mentioned it before. Jarek Gibson was in town. Top 5 cornerback Wardell Mack, was on campus. Cameron Davis, the Florida State running back commit, was on 3 defensive lineman Jordan Thomas, on 3 100 wide receiver Jeray Hawkins, on 3 defense on 300, pardon me, defensive back Travarius Banks, 4-star running back Tavani Mazel, 4-star defensive lineman Dimitri Nicholas. Dalen Evans was on campus for a multi-day visit. 4-star wide receiver Mario Craver, who I know a couple of people have put in some recruiting predictions for him to join this class. Not sure where his offer stands in terms of where he might be for that slot position right now, but it is our understanding that right now he's not necessarily a take just yet. In-state cornerback Jameer Grimsley, Kevin Levy was on campus, and 3-star offensive tackle Jordan Floyd. So obviously a lot of stuff going on. The day after the orange and blue debut, the Gators are going to host 2025 athlete Vernell Brown III, Georgia linebacker commit from 2025 Jadon Perlote, top 100 2025 wide receiver Kobe Howard, and top 5 2025 linebacker Noah McHale. Lots of names.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Do like the way linebacker recruiting has been going. Obviously got off to a relatively rough start there at the beginning of the Jay Bateman era, but it does seem like Florida is really targeting and starting to get a lot of traction with a lot of these top flight linebackers, which the Gators really haven't done in a number of years. But before we switch topics, any other recruiting commentary before, Nick, we get to your baseball segment?
I do want to get the boards for wide receiver and DB, corners and safety. It's so many offers that keep going out, especially at safety. So I want to figure out, and I'm going to talk to some people behind the scenes on what the board looks like which one of these are, committable. Because you mentioned Craver. I like Craver. Craver's a slot guy, but a receiver board is thick.
With 2 C's.
With 2 C's. Thick. And it's just loaded with a lot of speed, a lot of versatility. So I want to see who has committable offers and all that before, I start getting my lies off. But so far, man, elite class, the stuff that they're pulling in, the players that they're pulling in is the offers that are going out. Some of these services are late on some of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just tell by the offer list if they are, some of these players are missing stars, and you're just like, who are these kids and why are we offering the kid with no stars? Just look at the offer list. If they have Georgia, LSU, and Bama type offers, then you kind of get the vibes, and the services always catch up once they figure out who got committable offers and all of that. But I just want to see what the boards are like. That way I kind of start, shifting what this class could possibly be like. Start doing my mock classes and whatnot.
Yeah, no, Chance Robinson is a name. Go ahead.
When's your first mock class drop?
Next week, if I can figure out the safety and receiver board, I can start lying now. I don't know. I do got this class. Like I just on recruiting. I do want to say this before we got recruiting. It just seems smoother this year. We're having a lot less players that when it's time for the players to decide. Last year, it was just always some shenanigans right before they would start about to decide. Crystal balls from other programs, dates getting pushed back. All of that sorts is not happening this cycle. It seems smoother. I don't know if it's because the head coach is more involved into the NIL process now that they can talk about that stuff, but it just seems a lot smoother and a lot less hiccups. And I can't say the same for down south in Coral Gables. No run-ins with them yet.
No run-ins with them yet. A couple names at wide receiver. Jeremiah Smith, obviously, is a guy that Florida's still very heavily after. The number 3 ranked player in the country, number 1 wide receiver in the country, committed to Ohio State. I know him and DJ Lagway are tight. I know he's been on campus, but that is certainly a name from Chaminade Madonna down there in South Florida, a guy that Florida really, really wants in this class. Nycar, who has been on campus, he's committed to Georgia. Gatlin Bear, that's a name that we talked about on Wednesday's show from Burley, Idaho. We had to teach Nick the difference between Idaho and Iowa live. But that's a guy that if you haven't watched his clips, an incredible player, obviously, in Idaho. So Boise State, Utah, and a few others are involved. But I know Florida's very high on him. Chance Robinson's a name that you can look out for from St. Thomas Aquinas. Terrence Moore from Tampa Catholic here in Tampa. But the list goes on, but did not a lot of commits from the guys that Florida has offers to right now. And I think that board will start to clear up over the next couple of weeks. Natarion Tuggle is a guy. He goes by Nitro out of South Bend, Indiana, is a guy that I know Florida is high on as well. But certainly those will be names to look out for. To go down to safety, doing this here live. So just give me 1 second. Florida has a ton of offers out.
I hope Jamari Howard. I know Jamari Howard is coming this week. The commit that's safety commit committed to Michigan State. Hopefully we can make him not take that trip to Tallahassee this weekend. I got him on just commit watch at any given moment. I think he could pop. I could be wrong, but we'll see what's up.
Florida has offers right now. KJ Bolden, which I know is Georgia and Florida State are really heavily involved in. Xavier Filsaime is a guy. A lot of their top prospects have committed. A couple to Georgia. Jordan Pride over to FSU. But a lot of names. Florida. Zay Mincy is a guy that Florida seems to be trending for as well, out of Mainland High School there in Daytona Beach. But Brayshawn Williams, from Lakeland High School there in Lakeland, is a guy that Florida I know has offered and has been following his recruitment since last year. Fred Gaskin from Vanguard High School in Ocala, then Jarvis Boatwright from Clearwater High School there in Clearwater, all names to look out for as well at safety position.
Yeah, I would like to know how many we taking, because I think if Zay and Fasami want in, like how many we taking this cycle? So I know there's like 4 or 5 guys that we're in on and could possibly land. I just don't know how many we're taking and what's the board, you know?
Yeah, because Florida, realistically, they got a lot of DBs last year, probably realistically wants 2 this year, maybe 3. I guess just depends on who they are and where they fit in, or what maybe some churn in that room looks like as well. Right. Florida obviously is recruiting a lot of them with maybe the expectation that they may be losing 1 or 2 to the transfer portal at some point. Right. So, Silk, I think you said it well. It does seem like Florida's getting a lot of visitors, a lot of midweek visitors, a lot of just big groups that are randomly throughout the week, and obviously on the weekends as well. It does seem like recruiting is running smoothly. You see Florida ranked, very highly, somewhere in the 4 or 5 range on the recruiting rankings right now with 5 commits. And now it's a matter of just beefing up that class. But Florida's looking good on the recruiting chair right now. Now it's just a matter of winning those battles. So we will certainly see. Do you guys expect any orange and blue debut weekend commits this week? Not necessarily names, but how many do you anticipate for getting?
3, 4. Or I got it set 3 or 4.
Might know better than me. I was going to say 2 to 3.
Okay. I think that Florida probably gets. I'm gonna go with 3. I'm gonna go with 2 for this class and then 1 for 2025. No names, but I think Xavier Filsaime is what I'm gonna go with. Seems a little French. So we're going to I'm going to go with him and then maybe Kahnen Daniels as my 2, and then maybe